Whenever you're ready to start, we should be good now.
I mean, Todd in the Shadows had the shittiest setup, and he still got big.
I guess.
Are you
What does he
recording
do?
already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, he just had, what did he have? There's a few people who started vlogging without even cleaning or making their damn beds. I wonder maybe that's where Peterson got it from. Like, get up and make your bed in the morning. Because people would go and on camera and not even bother making. Like, one example is Chris Ray Gunn. He never had, like, just make your bed, dude. Chris Ray Gunn, make your bed.
Chris Ray Gunn, make your bed. Also, stop giving liberals more of a thing.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing you want to talk about.
How do you pronounce this? What is this beer called?
I don't know.
How do you read that?
Jewel Bry.
With a G at the end. Joel Bragg.
Jewel Bragg.
Whatever. I don't care.
Jewel Bragg.
I don't care. This is Dominion Cities. God, Jewel. What? I don't know. Whatever. I don't care. I don't care anymore. This is as far as I cared about to find out about this beer. It has a cool logo on it, and that's what I'm drinking. It's the green one with the antelope on it or whatever. Siggy next to me is drinking more Sunsplit because that turned out to be a really good beer, and I hope they continue to produce.
Anyway, I'm just saying our setup is an improvement, and also people have some ugly setups out there.
Well, our setup is still in development. I told you my final dream about what it's supposed to look like. I want to look like we're sitting at the bar. Or a cottage or something.
Yeah, that's the that I feel like my imagining is like an bookshelf office with one of those nice chairs and like the walls of books with around the fireplace. That's my dream room.
But that's what you want your office to be.
That's just because that's where I want to live. That's what I would have my setup too. I would just be in a library, like the old style libraries.
Where everything's encased in books, just completely surrounded by wood and books. And books are made out of wood, so it's all wood.
So then if anyone wants to get me, they just have to light the place on fire.
Yeah. No. Well, okay. So this is a very slow, mellow start to
Yum.
Yum, yum. Num to our podcast. This one's kind of late in the week, specifically because we had other shit come up and other bullshit that's been bothering us.
Tell the truth.
I am telling the truth. Like, other things. What the fuck was that? I'm afraid the fireplace is gonna burn down those curtains. That's what I'm honestly afraid of.
It's not an actual fire.
Yeah, but it still has a heater inside of it.
Okay, so we could turn down the heater.
We'll see. If I smell burning, this podcast is ending abruptly. Like most of my podcast or my live streams, when all of a sudden I smell something burning, so I run upstairs to make sure Siggy doesn't turn her turn-ups into burn-ups. Well, yeah, no. This week has been a little bit busy, a little bit of frustration, a little bit of unknowingness on my end.
We attempted to do a podcast.
We did. It didn't work out. Yeah, no, I feel like okay. Honestly, I signed my contract so I can start doing my electrical apprenticeship because clearly the other guys I was working with were not leading me in the right direction. Regardless of how much I like the idea of doing all the solar panels in the negative 40-degree weather outside during the winter, because the money was supposed to be really good. I did manage to sign another contract with somebody else, so now I'm going to be an electrical apprentice, which is exactly where I want it to be. So that's good. The other thing. No, most of that stuff's not important. But let's talk about some bigger news, something more interesting. YouTube decided to demonetize like a whole huge amount of its people. All of YouTube's new legal requirements or whatever, all the requirements for you to get monetized at all, now revolve around the amount of subs you have and the amount of hours watched. I looked into it, and I looked into it because, and then I'll get there. What I say was 240,000 minutes watched over the last 12 months. They said 22 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers. That's interesting, but I think I only have. Well, I have like 98,000 views since the inception of my channel. No, sorry, minutes watched. Hi, Kat. How's it going? Welcome back. You might see her walk. No, you won't see her walking around the background. She's too low, but she's very baffled by these curtains.
What?
This is a problem for not necessarily me. I was actually unaffected. As most of you know, I have demonetized my channel a couple of months back fully. I figured that, well, okay, let me go back to the beginning. If you guys remember the PewDiePie situation, I made a whole video about it.
Yeah.
How he was being demonetized and the adpocalypse was actually taking huge effect, and YouTube didn't know what to do. And I suggested to everyone that you guys give YouTube their money back by advertise, like if you're making any money at all, become the advertisers on YouTube. Give them back the money you make off of them. Through forcing them, like if you just turn an ad, just make an ad for your channel, just make a goddamn ad, and YouTube will go out of their way. Well, not out of their way. It's everything they don't want to do to promote you to other people, which will help you grow bigger as a channel and will have them not complain about the fact that they're losing a lot of ad revenue.
Well, I'm sure that's not going to work anymore, that whole program itself.
Well, it still works perfectly fine, but that means you have to be willing to invest money into your channel before you can get a monetary return out of the channel.
I just think, for people who are like supposed to be liberals and helping the little guy and helping people make it an equal opportunity and equal outcome and equal all that shit, this is ways where people who already have a following and who already are big and who already have money, they can make it, but people who don't will now have no way to make it in life, and they have to stay poor, even though they might be creative and have good ideas.
I've been telling people, like, we made $50-$60 a month, no problem. Almost producing 4 videos a month. It's not real money.
We were getting a lot of subscribers before all of this YouTube shit happened.
Yeah, but that was a different thing. That wasn't necessarily that. We're okay. As much as I complained about the fact that my channel used to have a growth rate of about 1 subscriber a day, which was pretty good, but I thought it would still take forever to get anywhere I wanted to go. At the end of the day, I stopped uploading daily. And I think that's what changed.
No, it was prior to Trump's winning. In the first few
that's
videos,
right.
The cognitive dissonance and the first John Oliver video and a bunch of stuff was growing steadily. We got about our first 150 to 200 subscribers in our first month. Bye, monkey. And then in our first month or two. And then, 3. And then after that, once the election happened...
No, but that was the thing.
It took us it's been a year, and we've gone 100, maybe. We just made it to 300.
Well, we made it to 300. Okay. Well, what I was showing you guys the other day was that I literally got to 300 finally. Promoting myself and doing other things. I'm going on other people's channels and live streaming, trying to make more connections, and we finally hit 300. The next day, I wake up, I see my subscriber count, and there's 2 missing. Yeah. I went to go check my analytics, and almost exactly 1/4 of my audience disappears. I don't believe that 1/4 of the people that subscribe to my channel have decided they're just going to unsubscribe. But then again, I've also pointed out that only 20 people even watch this content. Like, if you go check it out right now, 26 people watched the last podcast, and the podcast before that I didn't promote, and 24 people watched it. People don't watch it. And if they don't care, then they don't care. I'll keep making them because they're for my sanity more than anybody else's.
Yeah, no, I get it, but like there's been a change. Like they're literally keeping the little people down. They're making it this is anti-opportunity. They're taking away opportunity for people who don't have a solid source of income but who may be creative to gain access to a platform.
Well, they said they're only removing monetization. I'm not defending it because that's really shitty. They're literally removing the U out of YouTube. Now they're just becoming a television station, which is what they've been doing. They made partnerships with Fox. They made partnerships with CNN. They made partnerships with everybody, and it's really shitty because Egal, for example, he's one of the people we've been in contact with since we started. He's relatively locally to me. And I know he's been going through a really hard time, and YouTube's been helping him. He's been doing GoFundMes, and he's been doing Patreons. And recently, he's like, that really sucks, because he finally made it beyond 1,000 subs. Right? When we first met him, he was struggling above 500, and then he's finally made it above 1,000, and I think he's at 1,200 at the 1,200 mark. He's hanging out there, but he's like, yeah, but life got in the way, and I couldn't make as much content. I still have my subscribers, but he's, I think, 2,000 hours short of the requirement. So he's like, so now he's getting demonetized, and which means that all the work he put into it and all the things he did are now going to be for nothing. He might want to start doing more live streams, or might want to do some more stuff, but now his channel is what needs his live streams. See, this is the weird part, is that I used to be able to go on other people's live streams and get a bunch of recognition, get a bunch of views, get a bunch of people following me, and help other people get their views. But now if I'm not working towards only making my channel develop all the views, I'm literally losing the opportunity to get everything I need.
Anti-collectivists as well. Instead of working together and promoting collaboration with others, now, wow, what YouTube and Google, they're such a progressive companies who are just trying to help out people so much.
Well, look, this is exactly why I'm going to promote my idea again. Why I think my idea was an excellent idea. My channel, for example, has not been censored yet. I've seen other people's channels get censored, and when you get the shadow banning, when they make your channel restricted, when they make your channel unavailable to the public, you're not getting any more views.
There needs to be a new YouTube. There needs to be an alternative.
Let me get there. Let me get there. But what do you want?
She wants attention.
Whatever. The point is that I lost it.
There needs to be a new YouTube, and here's I don't want to like the left-right dichotomy, but on the whole, liberals are supposed to be more innovative and creative, and conservatives are more practical and traditional and realistic. That's why the two are supposed to balance each other, and maybe this is why, like, there's been no innovation. But we need innovation. We need people who are valuing freedom of speech and who are valuing this platform to come and create their own. People need to do it themselves and not wait for somebody else. We have to try to figure out how we can do it ourselves.
Exactly. And as I was pointing out, my channel hasn't been blocked, banned, restricted, whatever the hell the term is. My channel's still showing up for the most part. When you type in Silerious, I come up. When you type
I hope so.
No, we've actually made it pretty far up in the Google Trends. Like, most of the time when you type in Silerious into Google, you're coming up as a number one.
I'm going to check on a different computer.
I've asked. If you type in Silerious, we're pretty much coming up as a number one result in Google completely.
Awesome.
This is a perfect opportunity for me to once again suggest, for those of you who watch, the 20 of you, that if you want to become content creators, we're going to have to huddle together to survive. This is why I started the Silerious Network. The channel's not banned. We're still getting constant views. Constantly, people are still watching. My view count is always growing. Mm-hmm. My point was that if you get shadow banned, no one's coming to your channel. No one's looking at your content. No one's seeing what's happening. And as much as they said a lot of my content was inappropriate for their monetization, I didn't care. I still don't care. This is not about their monetization. I was going to give them their money back.
I wonder what it is though. Like, why is Trigger getting tagged and things so much, and he doesn't even meta tag that much and do any
That's
of
the
that?
problem. That is literally the problem. He goes out, he says a lot of things. He has no, but he doesn't leave the tags in. The tags aren't there.
How do they know? Like, what is he specifically like that they're sent? Like, we did dumpster fire all of that time.
Yep.
And we've never lost our right to stream.
Okay. I'm going to assume that YouTube finds it completely annoying and unnecessary for somebody to create a fuck ton of content and then not meta tag it. That means it's unfindable. That means if you even look for his content, you can only find his content under the term trigger warning. And trigger warning is a common term everybody uses. There's no point.
Maybe they just think he's spam.
They literally called him spam and took away his ability to live stream.
I see.
So
they actually think we're like.
I am continuously creating content. I'm tagging them properly. I'm using the best thumbnails I possibly can. I have Baron working on all my thumbnails. And he's constantly updating my thumbnails and working around that. And again, we're trying to work together. But by the way, check out our little community on Twitch if you guys care. We have started a whole streaming community where we're constantly sitting around the voice chat and shooting the shit while watching people play games.
Watching people play games?
Well, Varen's playing Dark Souls and we're sitting around and watching him and talking shit to him.
I thought you meant like you guys are watching other people play games.
No. Once I figure out how to use Pornhub to live stream on there, then we can have a whole other set of live streaming fun.
Maybe I should finish The Wolf Among Us. I thought I was hilarious in that commentary.
I thought that was interesting, but you gave up on it.
Because it was stupid and boring. Which was also the Blade Runner movie was stupid and boring.
Hold on.
Okay,
we'll get to the stupid Blade Runner movie. Stupid Blade Runner movie. I also don't like the fact that I feel like they stole the ending of the second more modern movie from literally Cowboy Bebop.
And Battlestar Galactica.
No, literally from Cowboy Bebop. That scene where he lies down on the stairs and he just kind of lays down to die. That's literally how Cowboy Bebop ends with Spike just lying there on the stairs and just accepting his fate and dying.
Yeah.
But no. I want to go back. I want people to acknowledge the fact that we are going to have to huddle together for all the views and all the information and all the interests.
Well, how do you get people who are individualists and only believe in themselves and only care about themselves? No offense, but like people who
the same way every other network has ever worked. That's what networks do.
This heat needs. This needs to go down. Is there a stick?
There's no stick. There's a remote actually.
If I throw my shoe at it, will.
No. Okay. Well, technical. Whoa.
Are you gonna cut this out?
Yeah, I don't have to.
Yeah, just maybe turn the heat off. Honestly, it's really hot. I'm sweating. My feet are sweating. Are you not sweating?
No.
Why do I get so sweaty? I'm like sweating everywhere.
I don't know. You have a sweating problem.
Okay.
And
Cowboy Bebop?
No, I'm not done yet. You were literally talking about collectivists and not collectivists
right.
joining together to.
Yeah, how do you get a bunch of people who only care about themselves to do something together?
Well, the way we have to do it is to realize that not working together is our biggest detriment. You can't fight individual battles. You can't try to fight individual battles without a collective cause.
Yeah, you need to protect the individual, but work as a collective.
If the left literally uses collectivist bargaining tactics and collectivist protest tactics to get what they want the entire time, how do we continue to act as individuals going our own way? How? Ooh, okay, this is like hurting me on the inside right now because I've been telling people to watch The Trap forever, and I've been explaining exactly how you create an atomized individualistic society just so you can create a threat to make it easier for them to control you. I've been telling everyone to go watch the goddamn documentary, The Trap, Part 1. Fuck you, buddy. Or fuck your buddies. It literally underlines how all of this is going on in the everyday society.
It's not innately part of capitalism. They're making it seem like it's capitalism that's making being individualistic and selfish.
I will. Yes. They make it the left make it seem like it's an individualist, selfish thing.
Yeah.
It's not. That's not what this is about.
But the whole individualistic, selfish nature was kind of orchestrated. It was It had nothing to do with like an economic system. Essentially, it just had to do with getting people to. I guess the idea is like the competition means individual, but there's group sports, right?
Yes.
So you can compete, and there's competition where you have to work together to win.
Yes.
And that has been lost.
The difference between being the best hockey player in the world and being the best team
in the world. Yeah.
You can be the best team in the world because everyone participates together. When the team start losing, when the best player on the team starts to show off and starts to feel like he's the only player on the team.
And no person has ever won like the Stanley Cup. Teams have won it.
I wish we could find a way to do what so many people have failed to do. But my stance are open. My channel isn't going to do as well without a collective, without help from other people. I have Varen, who helps me do a lot of the art that I can't do. Siggy does her parts.
How did that just turn back
It's not 100% off. It just blows a little bit, and then it relaxes, and then it stops blowing.
Okay. I might have to take my pants off.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, we have some people who are working with us, but
some people who are more resistant to working with us, and some people who are afraid that we're just using them for their sake. It's not like they can't produce content. Oh, okay.
And it's not like we even want to be in charge. And that's the other thing. We're like, we want this. Like we don't want to give away Silerious, but we want people to join, and we don't necessarily want to be the ones who run it. We're willing to, because we both have full-time jobs. We're willing to take someone else to run it.
I think people are afraid because they didn't come up with a name, they don't have the website, and they don't own a large portion of it, that they're afraid they're going to get screwed in the process. And I understand that, which is why I went to go register the goddamn website.
So we'll hire you.
We can't hire them. We're not making any money.
Once we make money, then we'll pay you back.
And then the question lies. Well, look, this is the whole point. It's finding a way to work together, but still maintaining individualism. This is the conversation we've had with people. How do people know that when people that join us aren't just saying what we tell them to say?
What is like every kind of partnership where you share holdings?
I mean, stock.
Like you share, like anyone who contributes to building it would have part ownership of it. Like this would be a co-op, like a cooperative, where it would be a shared. No, maybe I don't want that actually. Maybe I do want to own it. Hold on, let me think about that a little bit.
So yeah, it's a hard decision. It's a hard question. It's a hard understanding of.
Actually, no, I don't. I'd rather make it happen, and let it be its own organic.
Well, I don't want it to become its own organic thing and kick me off of it because I don't fucking produce enough content. But I'm willing to work with people for people to get known and help me get more known. And if we're all getting known and getting more known together, then at least we're in it together.
Right. And how many creators have been pushed out of their own companies? How many people have inevitably been? There's lots of movies about people getting old and being pushed out of their fucking The Social Network.
Okay. You're literally talking about Hollywood bias. Or at least Hollywood-induced bias through the media, which is exactly what the documentary is about. It's the weird programming way that they convince you. What are you doing?
Just keep going.
Okay. The way they convince you that everyone's out to get you. This is the way they condition you. This is the baseline that they set for you to continuously think that everyone's out to get you. Because they're not out to get you. I'm here to work with people. I'm here to contribute. I keep telling everyone, come join the Discord. Come hang out. The more people that come hang out with us, the more people we can all get to know. We'll create separate text channels. We'll create separate whatever. Everyone's allowed to show in the same place. We share an audience. You talk to people.
And they have taught, not only have they taught that everyone's out to get you, is that somebody else's success is your failure, and that and just jealousy, like the jealousy and greed and selfishness is whoever is successful has those qualities are just bad people and selfish people, instead of people who are being successful and then helping those around them, like their families and their communities and their towns and cities and whatever.
So it's really hard. It's going to be really hard for people to figure out what the fuck they're doing and how they're figuring it out. Small YouTubers are definitely going to have to work together now. Like, this is going
Yeah.
to force them. I, on the other hand, am going to start paying YouTube to advertise my channel. Now that I'm going to have I'm gonna throw in 50, maybe $60 a month for YouTube to advertise my channel. I'm gonna do my best to keep uploading stuff and keep working with you guys and working
Yeah.
with everyone. But again, I also make myself
Use them
available to
against
my audience.
themselves, yeah.
No, it's not against them. Fuck it. If they want to advertise my podcast to their audience, so I can talk about how they have shitty business practices. That's fine. But I don't necessarily think YouTube has shitty business practices. I just think it's moving away from what it was.
And something new needs to come in to fill it.
And that's the best part, because now Amazon is creating their own brand new social media web sharing service or video sharing service.
Maybe, yeah. So Toronto is now is part of the top 20 competing for the Amazon warehouse.
Headquarters?
Yeah.
Fine. Let them.
So
No,
they've narrowed it down. Yeah.
I like Amazon. The moment Amazon releases their thing, I will be at the forefront because I'm an Amazon Prime member.
But the left keeps talking shit about Amazon, about how they're so horrible to work for and how they don't I don't know. They actually expect you to show up and
which is exactly why I have no problem setting up a channel or my podcast on Amazon and going, hey guys, here's the conservative point of view. I may have been a YouTuber. Maybe I'm still a YouTuber. Maybe I'm just a blogger. Maybe I'm just what are we, a group blogging? I don't know what we are. Are we a podcast?
I don't know.
I don't know either. We're people. We're just people with opinions.
There's even been debate about whether it's actually better for people, because I was always an advocate of if there's a job that you could do from home and you don't need to be in an office, it actually saves the company money to not have to set up an office and stuff for you. But they've actually done studies that found that people who work from home actually end up overworking more than people who go into the office, and they lack the actual community, like working with their coworker experience as well on top of that. So I don't know, but there is there is shown that in some cases productivity is higher letting people work from home in cases where they don't need to be in the office. It saves them hours in commute. It saves cost. They can share it. So now they do, a lot of companies even do part-time work weeks where you come in certain days and then you share your desk. And so you'd save money that way. And you have people, I prefer to work from home a lot of days, right? So
I would murder somebody if they sat at my desk.
No, I've shared it.
I know you've shared.
Fine.
I would personally want to murder somebody if they took my desk. I don't like people sitting at my desk. I don't like people going through my stuff.
But when you have your own desk at home, your work desk is just a space that you use temporarily.
Yeah.
And you leave some stuff there. It's like when you had a locker at school. That's pretty much kind of what it is. Like when you're there, when you need to go in, that's how my desk is. When I need to go in and I have classes or meetings or I have certain things that I have to submit or whatever, I go in and I use that space. It's my space, but I'm happy sharing it. And so it saves money. They get smaller spaces. Anyway, sorry, that was a sidetrack thing.
Yes, it was. I have no idea where you're going with it.
But it's just people complaining about how Amazon and they actually expect you to work too much and hours and blah, blah.
That's fine. You sign a contract, and if you don't like the contract, don't sign the contract again. Mm-hmm. Go do something else.
Or negotiate your contract.
They won't negotiate your contract. I some people might. Some people won't.
No, but a lot of places will. That's the thing. People are... That's why I think everyone, the idea that everybody, it goes kind of back to the idea that everyone's out to get you. Your employer, for some case, for some reason, is not a human being and doesn't have family and doesn't have friends and doesn't have things going on in their life. And they could never possibly understand, you needing certain accommodations because their life is just they, you know what I mean? Most people would understand, if you talk to them and figure out, I have a kid and it's easier for me to pick him up at this time, but I'll work these hours instead on Saturdays, and you're still productive and you still do your job. You can negotiate that. People are not evil.
It depends on what position you take too. Because,
yeah.
I don't know, if you're responsible to be a person within a line of people, that has to do a certain part, you can't just not be there for that one part. That slows everyone else down.
Yeah.
If you're just doing, like, what do? You do research assistant work, right? So
yeah, so there's nothing that requires me to be in the office. Like,
Right.
unless I can only gain access to data in the office, which there are cases, and in those cases, that's when I do go in and I use that space because I can't take the data out of the office. But when I'm doing background literature searches and it's just everything's available online on the internet, there's no reason for me to be there.
Yeah.
And like even like right now, my boss is the same way. But my last boss, when I was working, she wasn't like that. And it was really frustrating because it was just me wasting 2 hours of my day getting exhausted to do something and not needing to work with anyone. Like if I had to collaborate with people, I would, but not needing to work with anyone. It was a project that I was single-handedly doing and just wasting hours of my day commuting and being uncomfortable in a chair and just, I don't know, just not, like feeling trapped and annoyed.
Yeah, like I said, there's nobody in a lot. Like you don't have to submit work daily or hourly for somebody else to do follow up work or add to it. So whatever you submit at the end of the time that you're doing is what you submit.
Yeah,
And
like
you're just
I work
putting in
with
hours.
deadlines, so as long as you have something on the deadline, that's how you do it. But what I was saying originally about that is they've actually found that the people who do what I do end up actually exhausting themselves and working more hours than people who actually go in and work at a set time and come home. Like it helps them compartmentalize. So there's actually pros and cons to these types of lifestyles, right? And doing the work your own hours each week. Like if you're going to be doing a 40 or 45 hour or 50 hour work week and you decide what your own hours to work, they actually found that like in those cases, you might exhaust yourself more and actually work more overtime than in time where you can compartmentalize your day. But I think the reason that this work from home thing is becoming a thing is because commuting is becoming such a problem for people and it's killing so much time. Sitting in traffic, honestly, I think is one of the reasons people hate each other.
Well, I don't think it's each other. There's nothing more that I personally hate than sitting in traffic and some motherfucker cuts me off. I'm like, why did you literally cut me off to get in front of me? Why?
To be in the same place, literally.
Okay, it's literally somebody taking my place in line. There's no other way to.
It's because people. It's a fight. I told you, it's a fight flight response. You can't. You can't move, and you're trying to get somewhere, and you're being hindered. It's not a healthy place for human beings to be. Spending 2 hours on a bus or in traffic or on a subway is not good for your mental health. It's just not. Now, there might be some people who are okay with it, some people who, are resilient and understand it, but as a population on the whole, those outliers are few, and for most people, it just makes you bitter, miserable, angry. It instigates your autonomic responses. You like, especially, I mean, and I'm saying like this personal for me, like this being on the subway, there's so many people, you get claustrophobic, and then in the winter it's like cold outside but it's hot in the subway, and then you're like with huge, it's just, I just don't think this is natural state for human beings to exist, evolutionarily speaking.
It's the opposite. You're stuck in traffic. Nothing about traffic is natural. Literally being stuck in a tiny metal glass box.
And it's hindering productivity. So we need to start finding real solutions for that in the future as a population. If we want to not kill each other.
Well, no, you can always just move to a smaller town with the commute is smaller. You might have to get less
if you
money.
have a job that'll allow you to, but if you can't,
that's the question. Are you willing to make the monetary sacrifice to move to a smaller town to do things at a more steady pace than to live in the city like Toronto, where
I literally did, didn't I? That's what we literally did.
Yes, but again, are we willing to stay? Are we willing to go? Or what are we going to do?
Well,
in the
what
next
are
couple
the
of
factors for us? And these are the factors for a lot of people: family, and so. Doing in one way, like having being here will cut down like my commute time, but if we do decide to raise a family, I would need my parents' support. I would need my cousin's support. I would want my child to have a surrounding, something that I missed out on when I was a kid because we came here. And so I wouldn't want that for my kid. I would want them to be surrounded by cousins and grandparents and stuff like that. And so, yeah, no, I'm not going to do the same thing that happened to me, to my kid. If having a kid, I'd want to raise it with family. And so that means we have to live in shitty Toronto.
That doesn't mean we have to live in Toronto. I mean, we can move to like Newmarket.
No, we can't, because I can't get a job there. I need to work at a university or at a hospital that has a research. You can get a job in anywhere,
That's
right?
true.
If you work at a store,
my job is far superior to everyone else.
if you work as even if you work as like a family physician, if you're a doctor and you're you can go to anywhere. But my specific, we can move to Kingston, we can move to Hamilton, we can move to London, but then that'll be 4 hours away from my family again. So
Hamilton's not that far away. Kingston's not that far away.
It's a bit better.
No, whatever. Mother beer.
Do you want to go get another one?
Yes.
And that being said, though, I'm still very appreciative that my parents came to Canada, and I would have never wanted to grow up in Iran. And the best thing that they ever did for me was move. So, yeah. Sucks that I lost the familial community thing, but I would have never wanted to be where they are right now. So,
small details in life.
yeah. It was a sacrifice, but I'm just saying, for my kid, when I don't need to make that sacrifice, why would I, right? Like, just saying. Unless like Canada becomes underdeveloped, and I don't know, you have to move to China for a better life. Speaking of which, fucking Blade Runner. What was with the Chinese? That was the weird thing. First off, right away, the triggering me about that movie is that the few dystopian apocalypse is with Asians everywhere. Just everywhere.
Is that what you got out of it? Asians everywhere?
They were all Asian.
How did you get dystopian apocalypse?
The whole premise is that there's been a nuclear war. Well,
Yes.
of the book is this is in the future where there's been nuclear war where all living things have been essentially wiped out, like like animals have essentially been wiped out.
That did not come through in the movie.
Yeah, no, it didn't, because it sucked. And that's why they pay attention to the owl, why the owl matters. There's a whole significance about the owl in the book. So it's this dystopian future, and that all animals are gone, and so all animals are. That's why the electric sheep, like they're supposed to be, all animals are so humans are the only one who are left, and they are mostly sick for the most part, actually.
Okay. So I have a real question about this whole Asians problem that you have. How do you know that most of the Asians you see in the street serving food weren't robots?
I think. No, I can't say that out loud. I don't have a problem with Asian people individually as a people.
It's not even close to the question I'm asking. That's not even close to it. I know where you're going with this.
Okay.
But could the Asians not have just perfected the best server robots? The robots that just serve your food.
Well, see, that's racist.
Look, the Asians are at the forefront of robotic technology. Them, Google, and a few other companies.
The forefront of service?
No. The robots are in the forefront of the service industry. That's what we're developing all the robots to be. Customer service.
I don't know. I'm just saying it was all...
Me too.
The dystopian future, and they are the biggest growing population of the planet is China.
Okay.
And they are dominating everything, and they are better than the white man in America. They are higher and make more money,
Okay.
and are
now
doing...
you're just spouting racist propaganda right now.
And I'm just saying...
Literally racist propaganda.
No, that's not. Those are facts. Asian Chinese people in America do better than the average white man. Like when they look at the wage gap, on average, Asians actually do better.
Okay, but why is your assumption that literally the people shoved into small kiosks to cook food all day for strange people walking around New York City aren't actually just robots like the rest of them?
I don't know who was the whole idea of is that you don't know who is well, I mean, not in the book, because in the book on Earth it's illegal to have robots. So if that comes through, There can't be robots on Earth. All the robots have to be on Mars. And the Nexus 6.
That also didn't come through.
And the Nexus 6, which in the movie was suddenly, well, they were 8, and then 2 of them get killed in the
On the
commute.
crash.
Yeah. And so the Nexus 6, wait, no. See, in the movie, they made it 8. In the story, it's 6, and 2 of them come from die in the book, sorry, it's 6.
In the movie, it's 6.
In the movie, they made it 8 in
6.
total. They made it 8 in total,
6.
and 2 Let me finish.
6. It's literally 6. You're going to keep saying 8. It's 6.
There was an escape from the off-world colonies 2 weeks ago. 6 replicants, 3 male, 3 female.
They said it's 6 of them, and 2 of them died during the crash, and there was 4 robots trying to kill.
Okay.
That's literally not 8.
Oh, okay. Because it sounded like there was 8, and then there was 6 of them that he had to kill. Because why would he have to kill Rachel? Because Rachel's
they
not.
added one more.
No, but see in the story that doesn't happen. Rachel is never part of the.
I'm talking about the movie. I don't know the story. I didn't read the story. I'm just talking about the book.
Well,
I mean the movie.
Okay, which sucked. But the whole. I'm just saying that on Earth, everybody's supposed to be human. There's not supposed to be any robots. There's not supposed to be any androids. So that premise doesn't work for the Asian thing. And also, I'm just saying, in the dystopian future of the world, America is pretty much no longer English and Spanish or English and French or English and any other. It's just English and Asian.
Okay, first of all,
English and Asian.
What?
Just saying.
What city were we looking at?
It's supposed to be Los Angeles.
The first movie was L.A. Okay, and all you saw was one Mexican, all white people, and just Asian people.
They were all Asians. There was
And
even Asian writing in the movie.
Only Asians running small shops.
And running everything. They
Not
were
running
running
everything.
everything.
Not
They're
everything.
running everything. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna tell you again, racist propaganda. I don't know where you're getting this stuff from.
Anyway,
maybe our
that's
server.
not what sucked about the movie. I'm not racist.
Okay. Go on. Tell me more about how the movie differs from the.
No, it's not about how it differs. It's how it sucked. It was boring. It had it was like glacial pacing. Like, imagine I was talking like this to me. That's what the entire movie felt like for me. Like, just
Yes,
there's no character development.
80s synth, going on while they show you really cool shots.
There's no dialogue.
Okay.
It was all just shots and him walking around with the gun, not even being able to fight. All of the androids kicked his ass, and he just had opportune moments where, like, someone would come in and he'd get away and then shoot him down.
That was
like,
the whole purpose.
lucky shot.
That's the whole point. The whole point is that the whole point is that he was not supposed to be a formidable opponent to the androids. Most people aren't.
In the book, he is.
And in the movie, he's not. He is not, or is. I don't know. They said you're the last one to survive, and he says get other people, and like they're dead. So people are clearly not formidable opponents. The robots are designed for survival and to be incredibly versatile, strong, painless.
No.
Why would you program a robot to feel pain?
Why? No. Why would you program a robot and give them sentience and give them and then not and have them also know martial arts and know how to kick everybody's ass? What human would be dumb enough to do that?
I don't know. Who said they knew martial arts?
All of the robots knew how to fight in the movie, except for Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford wasn't a robot.
Right, but like then how is he a Blade Runner?
He kind of acted like one. What?
How is he a Blade Runner? All of his kills were like opportunistic. Or like him getting lucky. They almost killed him every time. In every single... They almost had him.
Well, he was retired.
Okay, fine. He was old even then.
Yes,
whatever.
he literally said, I'm retired. And they go, no, you're not. And he said, get the other guy. And they're like, he's dead. He's also retired.
I don't know. The movie was boring. It had no dialogue. It was just long, awkward stares at each other. It was like fucking Twilight. It was like Twilight, like where the whole movie is just like fucking. That was the relationship of Rachel and Harrison Ford. It was like Bella and Edward, where they don't talk, they just say weird words that is supposed to be profound and meaningful, and then they look at each other, and then we're supposed to seem that they have this connection.
Except for that weird rape scene.
Yep.
That's one thing I will give that movie.
Did that not even make you uncomfortable?
That made me uncomfortable. I went, what the fuck is this?
Like, that's not like hot, push her up against the wall. That's push her into fucking furniture.
No. He literally prevented her from leaving his apartment for the second time. Like the first time she ran away. The second time he already predicted that she's gonna run out of his apartment as he's fucking trying to force alcohol down her throat.
And he throws her. He doesn't hotly grab her and hold her and look in her eyes. He fucking pushes her up against furniture.
And then he kind of grabs her by the throat and goes, "Tell me you want me.
Tell me to kiss you."
Yeah, that's it. Tell me to kiss you.
And she says no.
And then he goes, "Tell me to kiss you." And then she goes, "Kiss me." And he goes, "Now tell me you want it." And then she goes, "I want it." And then a sex scene? Not one that's visible to us, but that was weird. For robots that have sentience and understanding, the fact that she ran away from him the first time he tried to offer her alcohol.
Well, she didn't know that she was a robot. Also, something that doesn't happen in the book.
She knew.
No, they make it seem that she was implanted with false memories and that she doesn't know that she's an android. In the actual story.
Right. In the movie, she didn't know she was a robot.
Yes, and then that's when he has like the feeling, but that's why he feels bad for her only.
So is that what happened? He convinced her that she's a robot. She freaks out, tries to run away,
and then
he goes,
feels guilty.
You know what? I can have sex with this.
No, then he feels bad.
What bad? You don't stick your dick into what feels bad.
Because now the whole line between what's human and what's robot is broken for him because she's showing all these human emotions. Again, not characteristic of Rachel in the book, who's actually a pretty awesome character, but no.
I still don't understand why nobody remembers the rape scene.
This movie sucked. The only good thing about it was the visual and the costume design. I will give him that. It was actually good for that time, but the dialogue was shit. There was no character development. You had no understanding why any of the characters were doing anything. There was no background to understand why they would be behaving in the way that they were. They were just doing things. And I also hate the fucking 80s thing where they make the villains, and this is a thing of all 80 movies, and I've like in all 80s movies, and this is why 80s sucks. It's the worst decade ever for movies, for music, for everything. Yes, I am ranting. Yes, I'm raging because the 80s fucking suck because they make villains to be like all like these overacting clown jokers who like when they're like beating people up and ha 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 and beating people up and ha ha ha, like there's no depth to any of the characters and especially none of the villains.
Okay, speaking of weird retarded Joker thing, one of the androids put on clown makeup and pretended to be a doll for a while.
Yeah.
And then the worst fight I've ever seen in most movies was her dancing around and doing weird flips. While also making weird noises. I'm gonna see if I can splice this in, or if I'm just gonna get too lazy and not splice this in. But I'm gonna look for the scene in YouTube. And hold on, and she dances around. She dances around, and she jumped on. She like does this weird flip and jumps on top of him. And then it looks like she's about to break his head, but really she's just turning his head around so his mouth is like in her vagina. And then she like grabs him by the eyes until he falls over, and I'm like, what happened? And then she does backflips away from him for some reason. Just backflip, just does a bunch of somersaults.
Villains do. Just because villains can
just a bunch of somersaults away, which gives him an opportunity to get up, get his gun, and then shoot her repeatedly. And then she does this weird. I don't know how to describe it. I'm gonna find the footage. I'm gonna find the footage of her kicking and screaming and making weird noises as he just repeatedly shoots her and just to point out to you guys, what the fuck were we looking at?
You had no understanding behind the motivations, so I was shitting on the 80s, but there's a few 80s movies that I do like, and one of them was Die Hard, and the other one was Terminator, the first Terminator, because in Die Hard, like the idea was that this was the average Joe and he wasn't supposed to know how to fight and know how to do crazy things, right? So that's what actually made him work. In this story, he's the fucking Blade Runner. His job is supposed to be taking out androids. I'm sorry. It's not the same thing. It doesn't work. Also, in Die Hard, Alan Rickman playing the villain was fucking incredible because he's an incredible actor and knows how to act. And there was actual suspense in the movie. You actually cared about the characters. There was no reason to care about anybody in this movie. You didn't care about Rachel. You didn't care about Harrison Ford. Yeah. There was like even the most interesting character was that one bad android a little bit who was just like a normal, like he could have been the Joker from Batman. Like I couldn't even tell the difference, to be honest. And he's the
Wait,
Rosen.
they also had that random Mexican guy, which they brought back for the second movie. Remember the Mexican or the Spanish guy that just had follow Harrison Ford around, who just showed up at the end with the car after the android died? Remember who was wearing the pimp hat and he's had this thing and he.
Probably not, because I don't care.
Whatever.
I didn't care.
I
didn't care about this movie.
They came back in the second movie. Remember he went to go visit them in the hospital? And he's like, where is the whatever Blade Runner's name was? And he's like, I don't know. He
remember.
retired.
If it was not memorable. So
It was the old retirement home scene. If you don't remember scenes in the movie, it's really hard for me to have a conversation with you about
because
movies.
it's not memorable, because it sucked.
The second movie.
Even in the second movie was way better because I like looking at Ryan Gosling. It actually had dialogue. They actually built the characters. You actually understood a little bit why they were behaving in the way that they were. Like, I like action movies, but it needs character development.
You like action movies?
I love Bad Boys. I like Die Hard. I like fucking Lord of the Rings is an action movie. Like, screw you. Even Harry Potter is action adventure. I like action movies. I like Gone in 60 Seconds. I liked Mr. and Miss. I can list. All of Marvel is action movies.
Here's another one, which I recommend more people watch because I keep asking people if they've watched it. No one has. Running Scared.
Oh my God, that's one of my favorite movies ever. That movie was incredible. That movie, Memento, 21 Grams, and there's another
Still
one.
don't understand what 21 Grams is all about.
It's pretty much Memento,
12
but
Monkeys?
instead of and 12 Monkeys.
Okay.
Yeah, those are, and obviously Fight Club. Like, nothing's better than Fight Club, which
Lots
is
of
also
things.
an action
Lots of things
movie.
are better than that. Fight
Well, no,
Club.
it's actually more of like a thriller. Thriller.
I'm sorry. 12 Monkeys is better than Fight Club for me.
Really?
Yeah. I think
No.
Brad Pitt was much better in 12 Monkeys than he was in
Yeah,
Fight Club.
as an actor,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Snatch. I fucking love Snatch. I liked Pulp Fiction. I liked all of Kill Bill. I liked pretty much most Quentin Tarantino movies. Don't tell me I don't like action movies. This movie sucked. It was a bad movie. It was bad.
It was pretty bad.
You were fucking bored.
I'm sorry. I know. Okay.
We watched Baby Driver. That's an action. What are you saying? Action movies? Fuck you. We only ever watch action movies. When did we watch a drama?
Everything is an action suspense movie. I don't know.
That's every movie ever. When was the last time we watched a drama? Like Ex Machina. That was the last drama. Which is still like sci-fi new world. You haven't watched like a love story with
Ex
me
Machina
ever.
was pretty good. I recommend more people watch Ex Machina. It's low budget. But it's pretty good.
And
Lots of nudity.
someone jabbed at me for in Discord for hating Blade Runner and saying, go watch something
that
by
was
Michael
everyone.
Bay.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Michael Bay did Bad Boys 1 and 2, and they were awesome.
By the
So
way,
fuck you.
That was
you.
Bulletkin who told you that you hate all action movies and you should go watch something by Michael Bay. But when I sat down later on that day to talk to him about what I didn't like about the old Blade Runner movie, he had no idea about any of the stuff I was talking about. So he promised me he'll go back and rewatch the movie so he can figure out whether he actually likes the movie or not. Because when I talk to people about the final fight scene, they're like, what? Why was she wearing makeup? Why was she doing somersaults? What is this clown thing? Why did she scream retardedly? And why he just shot her repeatedly? And it like wiggled and jiggled. I'm like, I don't know, man. You told me it's a fucking good movie. I went to go see it, and apparently not worth it.
No,
Also, what? Since we're already on the topic of Blade Runner, when the android was literally in the process of dying, his hand started to cramp up in ways, and throughout the entire movie, they've been establishing that they do not feel pain at all. And then he pulls a nail out of a board and then shoves it into his hand and starts screaming like a maniac. I don't understand why he started to feel pain all of a sudden. And then like 3 scenes later, he shoved his head through a wall just so he can make some "Here's Johnny" reference and yell at the guy to better hurry up and run away faster or he'll come get him. And I mean, like, he literally, like a cartoon character, shoved his head through a wall to laugh and yell and joke and scream. And I'm like, how is this supposed to be a good movie? I understand what people really latch onto. The gun that makes big blood explosions when he shoots people. I know people really like the scenery, the marvel of watching every scene.
Yeah, the imagery was actually good.
Yeah, and then the synth fucking playing over just non-stop establishing
Oh my
shots. There's
God.
nothing but establishing
that whole
shots.
movie, that's all it was.
Establishing shots.
And like I look, maybe I'm biased, and maybe I'm just not one of those people who is nostalgic about the past and thinks about the good old days when things used to be good and just more simple and more understanding. I think life is better and more amazing, and music, television, I don't know about movies so much, but well, anything's better than whatever came out in the 80s. But like, you know, I'm not, but for me, character, I like action. I love action. Pirates of the, like, I love action. But for me, character development and good dialogue. That's why Quentin Tarantino revolutionized action movies, because dialogue and characters became important. You have to understand why their characters are killing each other. Why do you care if there's a cool explosion if the person who's in the explosion you don't give a shit about? You can go online and watch cool explosions all day. The movie's not supposed to be about cool explosions.
That's true. You can go and watch explosions all day on YouTube.
When I want to go watch a movie, I want to see people act, not stare at each other longingly. But not really, but like they're robots.
It's not
but
even
like,
longingly.
How they've met each other for 5 seconds.
Okay, I also don't understand why every goddamn thing was like, oh, these robots, they don't feel emotion. And I'm like, okay, so this is literally the moment you start acting like an emotionless robot and be like, this person acts well like a robot. And they're like, nope, we're going to get high-paying fucking actors. And I'm like, why is the robot supposed to feel no emotion whatsoever, laughing and giggling and laughing and trying to teach somebody a lesson by being maniacal? Right. What am I watching?
And like the whole concept of the actual story, that what makes it beautiful is that there's this whole thing about the robots can't feel empathy. And then you have Rachel in there in the movie, because Rachel in the story is supposed to be playing him. She knows what she's doing. She knows exactly what she is, and she's being played as the girl who doesn't know and who is different. And this is her job. Her job is to take bounty hunters, Blade Runners, and flip them and get them to fall in love with her. This is what she has been designed for. And they completely ruin that. And even in the second movie, which again was way better, I actually didn't mind watching it.
It was significantly better.
It was, the sets were nice. They had actual dialogue. They had character development. You understood Ryan Gosling's character. You understood why he was behaving in the way he did. You understood I didn't understand that what's his face is Jared Leto's like motivation though. Like I had no clue what he was doing and why he was doing what he was doing.
Right now, as a podcaster, as a YouTuber, as an online personality, as everything, Jared Leto's complete garbage, and I've never seen him do anything good.
Except in Requiem from a Dream.
He was in that?
No, sorry. Yes. I don't know. I'll check that later. He does have something he was really good in. But fuck. See, now I forgot. Jared Leto. Oh, except for the whole Hollywood stance of there's an underground level revolution and the CEO of a company is evil. That was just the only reason to create that dichotomy, because there was a revolution in the movie who wanted to bring freedom to the robots, but then you have the evil CEO who's also doing the same thing, but he's just the bad guy just because he has money and just because he's evil and just wants to do evil things, because people who have corporations are just automatically evil.
I would personally like to do
in the
a
book,
spoiler
Rosen
warning.
is actually a good character and is not evil. He's supposed to be the lead of the company. He actually he cares about his creation. He wants to actually protect them. And they just turn, and in the Blade Runner, they turn it into the Tyrell, and he just like, his robot kills him. Kills his creator, kills his father, so that they can have like biblical references or something. And then the takeover of the company is just evil. So just evil corporations. Even though in the book there's nothing about, like, Rosen actually just wants his creations to just be humans, and that the future would be that people couldn't tell the difference between humans or robots, and that they would merge.
Okay, well, again, nearing spoiler warning territory.
Oh, we spoiled everything.
Well, I don't think we spoiled anything. The
You
movie,
should put a
the movie's
spoiler
like
caption
30
as soon
fucking
as we
years
bring up
old,
Blade Runner.
like completely 30 years old, and the people can suck a dick if they either haven't seen it or think they've seen it and just haven't seen it.
Also, check out our book club, which I will be posting soon. And I didn't actually read the book. I just listened to the BBC series.
No comment on book club. No, I actually thoroughly enjoyed the plot twist of the new movie. This is why I say spoiler warning territory, because if you care about this movie, there's a pretty goddamn big spoiler warning coming up. They played it perfectly as far as I can tell, because for the majority of the movie I'm like obviously
Yeah.
oh no, duh, of course
Like, we literally
it's a
said
fucking
it out
movie.
loud.
Yeah, we're like, oh yeah,
That was
of course
predictable.
this is so predictable, of course, and then they're like, oh yeah, fucking twist, and it just goes, oh okay, so they actually tried to do something different with this, and it's actually an interesting point.
And you know what? That very twist is the reason that they had to engage in dialogue and character development,
Yep.
because they had to make you care. Please, like, I want, and people who want to argue with me and argue in the comments, please go watch that movie and explain to me why I should care about anyone in that movie. Anyone. And then go watch the second movie and explain to me, like, you can actually see why they gave you. It takes 5 minutes. It's not even that hard. Like, if you're a good writer, it's
kinda
not
hard
even
to
that
sit
hard.
there and watch those movies.
No, but to just create a little bit of history and context to make you give a shit about characters. Like, there's tropes. People are pretty predictable. You can get them to care about something by simply making them relate to universal truths.
Okay.
It's not that hard.
Yeah, okay, it's true. You can.
So why would I give a shit about any Harrison Ford, anybody in that movie? There was no. The whole book is about empathy, and they
The one
created
thing the
none.
movie lacks.
Yeah, and the one thing the movie lacks is the ability to empathize with any of the characters.
I guess that's a pretty big oversight.
The key theme in the book is empathy. And what leads to the nuclear apocalypse is the lack of empathy. And the movie can't get you to give a shit about anybody.
Also, as a side note, for those of you who actually want to see us do movie versus book, that series, let us know, because I'm excited to actually be able to sit down and actually discuss the difference between the book and the movie and how they could have done everything better.
And I will say that there are cases where I do think that the movies are better than the books. So
Well, there are cases where the author of the books thinks like
Yeah.
in the case of Fight Club, where Chuck
or just
Palahniuk
different.
literally said he enjoyed the movie more than he enjoyed his own book. He's like, no, you guys did a better job with the movie. This is actually much better. I should have not at all fucking made it obvious that Tyler Durden is Jack. I don't know.
Well, you actually haven't read Fight Club. And
I
haven't
have read
it
Fight
in a
Club.
while.
I have read Fight Club, and I've watched the movie.
I've still enjoyed the book.
Yeah, me too. The book is pretty good. Pretty good. Not as good as the movie, which is why the guy said, you guys literally did a better job with the movie than I did with the book. Maybe you should have kept the suspense a little bit longer.
But yeah, no, out of Chuck Palahniuk's books, Fight Club is not his best one. Survivor, definitely.
Survivor was amazing. But no, there's that. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think we have much more to...
I'm
to
sorry
go
I
on.
yelled at you a lot, baby.
It's okay. It's okay.
That
not
movie
yelling at me.
triggered me.
No, okay. Honestly, if you guys want to see her triggered, ask her about No Country for Old
No,
Men.
we're not going to get into that. I actually wanted to watch it again to remember how much I hated it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's watch it again.
I'm going to take notes
I'll take notes.
and do my own review of how bad that movie is. Because I think it's the worst movie ever made ever. Like, it's worse than The Room. At least The Room is funny to watch. You can laugh when you're watching it. You can't even laugh in that movie. You can't do nothing. Except wait for nothing to happen. It's the whole movie.
And literally nothing happened.
Nothing. That's the whole movie of nothing happening. Okay. You should end the podcast now.
All right, guys. Thanks for staying tuned. Yeah, no, this is a midweek thing that we're doing because we're catching up, and we're still going to be doing one this Sunday.
Tell us if you like our layout.
For those of you who give a shit, Siggy put some curtains up. We are going to be evolving our thing as it goes. You'll either know this or you won't. I don't really give a shit. As far as updates, I have my gaming contest going on right now, which nobody's entered. So apparently I can't even give away free fucking games. No, that's about it. We're hanging out. We're trying to produce content. We're trying to survive on YouTube before YouTube takes it. Oh, as far as predictions goes, right now YouTube took away people's monetization, which is good because they're just gonna get rid of a lot of people who aren't doing shit on YouTube or anywhere.
Yeah, maybe it's not so bad actually.
Oh no, that's what they said. They said they're gonna get rid of people who are literally just showing up to do garbage, which isn't 100% true because they're literally getting rid of people I know have been making a really good try at it. But I know they're going to get rid of a bunch of other people who are doing garbage. Because like I said, I pointed this out before. There's breastfeeding videos on YouTube for the sake of breastfeeding.
What if they're like teaching you how to breastfeed?
Okay, I sat down and I went through the videos because they kept saying that they're trying to get rid of garbage content on YouTube. So there's just one Mexican lady who has an entire channel around her whipping her tits out and letting her kids crawl on top of her, occasionally sucking on their tits. I do not think it's a breastfeeding video. I think it's a topless blog site to have people sit around and masturbate to it.
Yeah, probably.
Like she can do the exact same thing on Chatterbait, for example, where she just gets her tits out and has her kids sucking on their tits. I mean, like,
you mean chat roulette?
No, Chatterbait.
Oh, okay.
Chat roulette is not a porn site.
Oh.
It's just where you go to see lots of dicks.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
So let's hope that's more people that we know survive on YouTube. I'm sorry, but I do want to work together with more people. If you guys have any suggestions, let us know. Join the Discord when we're talking, hanging out, and live streaming from. You can talk to us directly whenever we're around. Otherwise, we'll see you in a couple of days. You guys have a good night.
Good night.